guys, welcome to the last video of this year. This is the year that I made the most or posted the most YouTube videos I ever have. It was a great year. I hope 2022 was a good year for all of you guys too. I hope you achieved all the goals that you had in mind. I am super excited for year 2023. I think it's gonna be super awesome. I have so many plans for it already. I'm graduating in a few months and then just doing some different jobs and like going different places. So yeah, that's gonna be really exciting. I hope you guys are also excited for 2023. Let me know in the comments what your sort of routines are for the new year, the start of the new year. Like, do you like to get new calendars or make goals? Like, what is your process there? Because I would love to know. I personally love making new goals for the new year. I love getting new calendars for the new year, so I would love to know what your guys' habits are for the new year, because it would be super fun to hear some of your goals and how you make them happen. Like I said, this is the last video for 2023. New Year's Eve is actually tomorrow. A big thing I've been doing at the end of the year is making a lot of gifts for my family members and stuff like that. I love making things. It's like my thing. I love to sew and knit and crochet and like I love making things. If I could DIY everything, I would. So to me, making handmade gifts for the people that I love is super fun because, well, I just love doing it, but also I put more thought into gifts that I make for people, so I think they're more special in that way because I put a lot more thought and time into making them compared to just like buying gifts. So this year I made quite a lot of gifts, and usually I only sew gifts. I've made gifts for many years, but most of the time I only sew them. But this year, at the end of this year, I've really gotten back into knitting. I learned how to knit when I was a kid, but haven't done it in a really long time. I kind of only did like crochet, but I've really gotten into knitting, and so I'm knit a lot of my gifts this year. Like, even just getting into knitting, I haven't really knit a lot of things for myself yet. I've knit one thing for myself in the past few months, but I've knit like multiple items, but most of them have been as gifts. Anyways, I'm rambling about knitting as usual. But yeah, I have my pile of gifts here. There's a few things missing, but I'll take pictures of them and insert them in. So yeah, let's just start, I guess. So like I said, I've really been getting into knitting and different techniques, and for me, I love crafting, like I said, crochet, sewing, knitting. I love all of those things, but especially I love making clothing items. And for me, it's really important if I'm going to make something, I want to be able to use it all of the time, because I just put all of that effort into it, and I don't want it to be something that I don't use. So I really like making clothing items that I can use all of the time. And so I apply the same principle to gifts for my family members because I want them to also be able to use the gifts I give them all of the time. I want it to be something that they use a lot and will get a lot of use out of. So that applies to a lot of these gifts. But getting into clothing, a few years ago, my first year of college, I sewed a tie for my little brother. And it is like, it is not a good tie. Like, he has a hard time tying it, and it's just like, it's not like other ties. It's not constructed very well, and I didn't use the right fabrics or methods, but he still wears it all of the time because I made it for him. So I decided to make him a second tie this year. We are religious, and so we go to church every Sunday and wear our Sunday best, which is usually like suit and tie for the guys and dresses for the girls. And so he wears ties at least every week and then has other activities that he wears ties to as well. So I knew he would use a tie. So, and he's getting more into fashion and stuff. He's like 17, and so he's just getting more into that sort of thing. So I thought he would really enjoy a tie. I knit him this tie and it's kind of cool. It's just some plain colors. I really like using thrifted materials for all of my sewing projects or craft projects in general. If you've been following me for a while, I say that in probably every video that I love to use thrifted materials. But anyhow, I got both of these yarns from the thrift store, but originally the yarn is actually from the Dollar Tree. They've got like kind of a larger selection than I would have expected at the Dollar Tree of just some like soft acrylic yarns. So I saw these ones at a thrift store and got them both for like 50 cents each, I think. And yeah, I decided, I mean, I don't really like acrylic yarn. I would prefer to use more natural fibers, but it's what I had on hand. So yeah, I made this tie for him, and on one side it's got the linen stitch, and on the opposite side, well, I guess it's all the linen stitch, but it's kind of like two-sided, I told him, so he could wear it both ways for like different textures. He hasn't worn it yet. Probably will in a few days. We'll see. Hopefully he likes it though. So that's the first gift. I made a pair of socks and they're very, very chunky socks. I've never made socks before, so I didn't really know how to. This is a free sock tutorial on YouTube that I followed, and I'll try to have it linked down below for you if you also want to find it. But yeah, I just followed it. I pulled an all-nighter knitting these. Obviously they were a lot faster than other socks because the yarn is so thick and the needles are really big too. But yeah, my first pair of socks I've ever made, and they're not like the right type of yarn for socks. They're also acrylic yarn that I thrifted. But so I haven't even told you who I made it for. I made these for my mom, who loves socks. Her feet are always cold. She is always cold in general, so I thought she'd really appreciate some socks. Afterwards, I blocked them. She has the same feet as me, like the same size and stuff, so I just made them for me basically, but then gave them to her. So yeah, I'm really proud of how they turned out. They kind of look crazy, but they fit her, so that's good. So that was the second thing I knitted. The third thing I knitted, and I actually started first. You've actually seen it in, well, if you've watched my videos, you've seen this in past videos. And it's the beanie I worked on for a long time. I gifted it to my boyfriend. I created the pattern by myself and it turned out amazing. I'm so proud of it. The yarn was also thrifted and it had some mohair mixed into it, which it was acrylic with mohair, which is kind of an interesting combination, but it was really cute. And if I wasn't, I mean, I would have loved to have kept it for myself, but it took such a long time, but it turned out amazing and I love it. And so yeah, I gave it to him for Christmas. This is a second gift that I made for my mom. It's just this little simple pillowcase. I'm not sure if you can see it, but it has a sand dollar kind of stitched on it. It's not really embroidery. I'm not sure what type of stitch method it is because I didn't do it. Actually, a few years ago, my grandma, who is my mom's mom, gave this piece of fabric to me with the sand dollar on it, and she told me that my mom had sewn this onto it back when she was in college. So she also took like 1 or 2 sewing classes when she went to college. And so she made this and must have given it to my grandma for a quilt or something, but then my grandma just held on to it. So my grandma asked me to make something for my mom from it because I was learning how to sew at the time. Or I knew how to sew. I was at college learning how to sew better. So I kept on holding on to it for a few years and meant to make a pillowcase out of it like every Christmas, but just never got around to it until now. And so it's just like this simple little pillowcase for her couch. She has like some cute wintry ones and fall ones, but she doesn't have like a spring and summer one, so I thought this would be really cute for that. The next gift I actually made 2 of, but I only have 1 here. This t-shirt. So like a year ago, I took a class that taught me how to sew with knit materials because I didn't know how to. It's very different from sewing with, well, it seems very different than sewing with like woven materials, so it's kind of like scary. So I never learned how to until I took that class, and then went crazy and made a bunch of knit things because knit fabric things because it was new. And my dad is someone who is very hard to give gifts to because like he doesn't really have time for a lot of hobbies. Like he has hobbies but doesn't often have time for them. So if you give him something related to his hobbies, it might take him a year or 2 to get around to using it because he's just really busy all of the time. So it was hard to it's really hard to think of gifts to give him. So last Christmas when I learned how to sew with knit materials, I made 2 t-shirts for him because like out of everything he will definitely use a t-shirt. Like he wears t-shirts every day. So I decided to make him some t-shirts and was just crossing my fingers that he would like it. And then he loved the t-shirts and wears them like all of the time, like more than any of his t-shirts because the ones I made fit him better than his normal ones, and they like are longer, which he likes, so he just uses them all of the time. And then he likes them because I made them for him. So, because he liked them so much, I made him 2 more this Christmas. So, I wish I had the other one, but I think he wore it to work today, so I couldn't find it anywhere. But yeah, so I actually got like a dark gray heathered material, and then made one shirt from the dark gray and then dyed this one with red, but then it turned more purpley. But yeah, so that's that one. And then I don't even know what it's called, but it's kind of like this transfer type paper where you can print something on it and then you take the back off, so it's kind of like a sticker, and then you put it on and then you iron it on, and then it's like stuck to the fabric for good. So that's what I did with all 4 of the t-shirts I've made him. So this one has the Jeep logo on it because he loves Jeeps and has always wanted one. And so yeah, it's just like something he really likes. So that's what I did for that one. The other one, he's a CHP officer, and so I just put like a CHP thing on it. But yeah, I made those for him, and hopefully he likes them. Again, I think he's wearing one today, so he probably does. Okay, so this last item is kind of like the coolest gift I've ever made or given to someone. Like, it's really, really cool, and I am impressed. I mean, I knew I could make something like this, but I'm impressed with myself. So, let me give you some backstory. This gift is for my older brother, he is very into animes and video games and stuff like that. I'm not. I've like watched 1 or 2 animes, but I never really get into it. And I've played video games, but again, I'm not really into it and only play it with like family members, never on my own. So yeah, it's hard to give him gifts because I don't really get into the same stuff he gets to. Like, he likes anime and video games, and I like fashion and crafting. So it's kind of hard giving him gifts sometimes because I don't know how to find what he likes. But maybe a year ago and then just a few months ago, he asked me if I would ever make like custom pieces, like sew custom pieces. And I was like, I don't know, like I don't really like making custom pieces because they're more complicated. There's a lot more opinions around them, and just like expectations placed on them. So it's really, I don't like doing it. I just like being more creative. So I was like, I don't know if I'd ever make a custom piece. Maybe. And he's like, okay, well, like if you ever did, I would pay you to make this one jacket. And I was like, okay, well, what is it? And I've not seen this anime, but the character Levi from Attack on Titans, it's one of his favorite animes, I guess, and his favorite character in the show. Again, I've never seen it. So he just said, you know, there's this jacket that the character wears that I really like, and if you ever did or were open to it, I would pay you to make the jacket. And so I was like, okay. And then just like kept moving on. We never talked about it again after that. But then this Christmas, I was like, you know, I have to make him the jacket. Like, I know he would like it because he's asked me twice about it. And, you know, if he has asked me twice about it, I know that he would really, really like it. So, that's what I did. I made this Attack on Titan's jacket. I don't know what it's called. Again, I've not watched the show. I just referenced some pictures that I found online of the show, and I think it turned out really good. So let me just walk you through my process for how I made it. A few weeks ago, I posted a video about my senior capstone project. For that project, I made a digital sewing pattern for my Etsy shop. They were cargo pants, and then at the end of the semester we had a fashion show, and I modeled my own pants, but I also wanted 2 other models, my sister and my best friend. So I made pants for both of them. And the pants that I made for my best friend, I used this denim material that I found on Amazon. I loved it. It was really great material, and so I wanted to use it for my brother's jacket. Ordered the exact same thing off of Amazon, and it was not the same fabric. Instead of denim, it's kind of more of this like canvasy material, so it wasn't the same, but I was like, you know, it's good enough, like it's fine. So it kind of is like this natural color, like imagine muslin, like natural muslin. It looks like that, and so it's not the same color as the jacket, so I was gonna over dye it so it would just be like a slightly darker tan. So I got like the cheapest brown dye I could find on Amazon, and it was brown for sure, and then I tried dyeing the fabric in it, and after like dyeing it and washing it, it was pink. Like color of the wall pink. I mean, this is purple, but like it was a bright pink. I was like, oh, I just ruined everything because like it can't be pink. Like, no, this is wrong. So I'm like freaking out, and I was like, Mom, what do you think of this color? What do I do? And she's like, just dye it again. So we went to Joann's or Hobby Lobby or something like that and picked up another dye. Because it was pink, we went with something yellow, so then it would maybe be orange. So that was our thought process. So we dyed it again while he was asleep, so he wouldn't see it. And then it turned out this like kind of bright orange color. But it's nice, and it reminds me of this other jacket. I don't remember what it's called off the top of my head, but I'll insert a picture. It's like the same color as those jackets, so I was like, you know, it's good. Actually really likes the variation in the dye because it makes it look more like rustic and used and stuff, so that ended up working well. So then basically after dyeing the fabric, I had to create the pattern, and of course I could just buy a pattern, you know, a men's jacket pattern, but I can't. Like, it's not in me to do that. Like, I'm a pattern maker at heart, so I had to make a pattern for it. I've talked about my Etsy shop millions of times, but it's because it's what I love. But one of the Etsy patterns that I have is the Jane jacket, which is based off of my favorite denim jacket. It's for women though, like it's got women's size sleeves and everything. So I was like, I'm just gonna use my Jane jacket pattern and alter it so it fits a man. So that's what I did. It took a few hours and I did it right in front of him. I was like, maybe he'll know that I'm making a jacket, but maybe he'll think I'm making it for someone else, you know? I have a big family, so maybe he'll think I'm making it for someone else. Then I cut the fabric and started making it. But one of the main characteristics about this jacket that I'm creating is the patches. I don't know what the patches are for. I didn't watch the show. But yeah, they're this type of patch. And you know, there's like one on the front with the pocket, there's one on each sleeve, and then there's like this huge one in the back. And I looked on Amazon, so after buying the materials and stuff, I'd already spent like $60. And I was like, after looking at the patches were like $6 each. And I was like, I need at least 3 of the small ones, and then there's the huge one on the back. Like, this is gonna be a really expensive jacket. So I was thinking, and I don't even know if they had like one big enough for the back. So I was trying to figure out a different way to do the patches, and I've painted jackets before, like with a special medium that makes the paint more flexible so it doesn't chip and break. So I thought about that, but that was just going to take a really long time, and I just was running out of time to make it. So what I decided to do, it's kind of like the special paper that I used on this shirt. It's a paper that is fabric-like that you just put in the printer and you print on it, and then you can stitch it onto the fabric. So that's what I did is I got the paper and I printed the patches, like the specific sizes I wanted for each one. And then I got this, I don't know what it's called. It's this type of material that you put on the back of fabrics and iron on, so then it's like an adhesive, and then you put it on the actual fabric and iron it so that the fabric sticks to the fabric with glue. So that's what I did to the patches, and then I just like appliqued them onto the different pieces. For this really big one, I actually had to sew 2 pieces of the special paper together. So it's got like a seam. I don't know if you can see it. It's not what I would have preferred, but I think it's like discreet enough. that it works well. So yeah, the patches turned out really good. But anyways, on Christmas Eve, I sewed this jacket all day, like from 10 a.m. in the morning until probably like 7 or 8 p.m. No, probably 9 p.m. on Christmas Eve. That's how I spent my Christmas Eve. Literally locked in this room, sewing away for hours. So yeah, but it was worth it. He opened it on Christmas morning and loved it. Like, he told me it was his favorite gift he had gotten this year, and he just really, really liked it. So I'm really happy about that, because I've made him gifts before in the past, but they probably weren't his favorite gift. So I'm really happy that he really liked this jacket, and it turned out really good. I'm really proud of it. So yeah, that was my last gift that I made this year. Anyways, I know it's after Christmas, and now you maybe just got these ideas for gifts, but basically I just wanted to give you some inspiration for gifts that you can give people. We're all creative in different ways, and I think you should use that creativity to give gifts, because people really appreciate them more than you might think they would. I'm not like an artist, but I would love like a painting that someone gave and thought about just for me. Like, whatever your talent is, use it for giving gifts, because I think the people in your life will really appreciate it. Hopefully these gifts inspired you for gift giving for birthdays or other holidays or next Christmas. I would love to hear what you guys made for Christmas. If you made any gifts for Christmas that you really liked, tell me in the comments below, because I would love to hear them. I'm always trying to think of new gifts that I can make for people, so yeah, inspire me down in the comments. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you had a wonderful Christmas or Hanukkah or whatever sort of celebration you had at the end of this year. I hope you had a wonderful time with your family and friends and loved ones. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel and give me a thumbs up. I'll see you guys next year.